Breaking news. Scientists have warned us that we are going to run out of energy, but the question you may be wondering is why. Looking at figure 1, you can see that 84.3% of global energy comes from fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are fossilized remains of plants and animals that lived millions of years ago. They're dug up from the ground, making them a finite source of energy. And by the rate that we are currently using them, it is predicted that we will run out by 2060. This is why scientists are looking at alternate sources of energy, including this one here, nuclear energy. But what is nuclear energy? We go live to an expert on the subject now.
Hello, I'm an expert on nuclear energy. Inside every atom there's a nucleus, and nuclear energy is the energy that holds the nucleus together. Larger atoms need more energy to hold the nucleus together. These large atoms can split as the electromagnetic force pushing the nucleus apart dominates the strong nuclear force holding it together. When these large atoms split into smaller ones, energy is released in the form of heat and radiation as the smaller atoms need less binding energy. This principle is what makes nuclear fission a good energy source. Now here's a clip of another Welshman describing how nuclear fission works.
The process starts with a neutron that will collide with a uranium atom that has a mass number of 235. When collision takes place, the mass of the uranium changes due to the extra neutron now present in the nucleus. So now we have uranium with a mass number of 236, and this is an unstable isotope, so it will undergo nuclear fission to form two new atoms. When the uranium splits, energy is released, and in this case, krypton and barium are formed. Also in this reaction, 3 neutrons are produced, making this process a chain reaction as these 3 neutrons can go collide with further uranium atoms, starting the process again. If you're looking for a chemical equation, here's one for you. Now that you understand the process, let's take a look at the environmental aspects of nuclear energy. Is nuclear energy the answer? After looking at these sources, we can comprise the advantages and disadvantages of using nuclear energy. Firstly, a good thing about nuclear energy is the low carbon emissions. When burned, fossil fuels release harmful pollutants like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and this has a large contribution to the climate crisis. Nuclear energy doesn't release these harmful pollutants, making them a clean energy source. Nuclear energy also benefits from being cheap to operate. The cost to produce electricity when compared to fossil fuels is very low. The risk of inflation of nuclear energy is also very low, which isn't the case for fossil fuels. Nuclear energy is also a reliable source. Other energy sources like wind and solar are weather dependent, whereas nuclear energy isn't. Nuclear power plants can run for years without any interruptions and maintenance. Nuclear energy is also 8,000 times more efficient at producing energy than fossil fuels. A kilogram of uranium-235 contains 25.5 times 10 to the 23 atoms. The fission energy available from one atom of uranium-235 is 3.2 times 10 to the minus 11 joules. So the amount of energy available from 1 kilogram of uranium-235 will be 8.2 times 10 to the 13 joules. However, there are major drawbacks to nuclear energy. I said the nuclear power plants are cheap to run, but they have a very high startup cost, with the estimated cost being around $23 billion, which is around £16 billion. I also said the nuclear energy doesn't release harmful pollutants, but the mining for uranium does. Also in nuclear fission reactors, water is used as a cooling agent in this process and can reach temperatures of 37 degrees Celsius, which can significantly change the chemistry of the water. And when released back into the ocean or river, the water is now uninhabitable for aquatic life. One major problem of nuclear energy is the radioactive waste produced. We're exposed to some amounts of radiation every day, but this isn't harmful to us. However, the radioactive waste produced during nuclear fission is very dangerous. There have been many disasters due to the radiation produced, but scientists are finding new and better ways to store this waste. Finally, nuclear energy is a limited fuel supply. As nuclear energy depends on elements like uranium and thorium to work,
nuclear energy isn't a renewable source of energy. Now we go back to the studio. Now we go live to a very intelligent and good-looking undergrad chemist on their opinion on nuclear energy. Hi. In my personal opinion, I think nuclear energy is not worth the time and money to build and run when we are likely to run out of uranium in the next 100 years. However, if scientists do discover how to get uranium out of seawater, then I'll fully support the idea of going nuclear.